Good evening, good evening, good evening. We have an international break coming to a close, and I'm frozen for a second. Um, but uh, but the games are coming. I got good news. The games are coming, and we are going to discuss these next set of games until the next window. But before we do that, like the title says, the current state of the club. These first 8 games have been interesting. Um, Probably, I'll be lying to you, or anybody who's a Spurs fan would have just thought that these first 8 games would have gone the way it has and that we would be top of the league. I would have told you, what are you smoking? And can you pass that along? Because it has been a wonderful start to the Big Ange era. But before we discuss making his debut on, I think, Tottenham away, yeah, on the channel, not mine's or Stell's or Will's show. It's Alan from Time Added On. Alan, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on. First time on the channel. Yeah, obviously, big up to all who's been on my channel. Mari has as well. Obviously, still got to get you on sometime. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Ready to talk all things Spurs.
Yeah, and guys, we will put the link up on the chat to go to that channel. Um, Alan's show is just it's one of the best shows out there. I'm not saying it because he's here.
It's in the thumbnail, Mari. We put the link in the thumbnail. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. If you guys can go to it, like and subscribe. He's one of the rising stars. You can see him on the terrace. You can see him anywhere else. So even keel. He's one of the most even keel Spurs fans that's out there, and his show is always even keel with some characters in there. Alex, whatsoever. Will had the famous debate with Jay in there, and so it's an honor to have him on it. I was just like, man, we gotta have Alan on the show. Stell, how are you doing?
I'm right, but I put too much chili in my mouth before we went live, and I'm
struggling.
So much pain.
Oh man, that's not good. Plenty of water, plenty of water for that chili. Just a big up to a couple of people who are on there before we start. Big up Roy. Have a fantastic show. Big up. Rob is in the house. Big up. We got Top Spurs. Big support in the house. We have Ant, who's also in the house. Big up. Big Tone, who is always in the house. Ian, LA007 is also in the house. USS Sports Picks. Big supporter in the house. Sean. Yes, I agree with you. It's felt so long on this international break. Michael is also in the house. Big up, Spurs 72. Mr. Conrad, that's my boy, my Florida boy. He's also in the house. He's out in Tampa. I'm in Orlando. Big up, Fran is in the house. Steak. Alexander Hilton is in the house. Mark, big up. Mark Cousins is in the house. Big up. Swim Master is also in the house. Big up. Oh, okay, yeah. Heard about that. Well, I guess we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll try to get to that. Still call. Big up. Who's also in the house. Big up to Michael, who's putting a question. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about that. Ev, big up. Is also in the house. Today we were supposed to have another guest. Today, that will be next week. But it's us three, unless we have a surprise guest that came in. I shot a link to a couple of people, but yeah. So we will start first with our guest, Alan. Current state of affairs, right? You have a board meeting. They're talking about when there's a board meeting, they usually talk about the current state of the business or the project. and current state of the team. And 8 games is enough to kind of give a report, right?
Yeah.
Good, bad, and also a little bit meh in there. Coming from a team that wasn't just fans were depressed,
Yeah.
we were at dire straits, we were having rumors about Nagelsmann, and other managers coming in.
Yeah.
We went a different route. We didn't get a paycheck manager. We went with, not really unknown, but it was definitely, not on our radar until it, came up and we hired Big Ange.
Yeah.
The first 8 games, including the Carabao Cup, what is the current state of the team? What are the things that you highlight that are, the good, the meh, or if there's anything bad?
Yeah.
What's the current, in your opinion, what's the current state of the team?
So it's a very difficult one to say, although obviously we're going to base on the results. We don't know what this Tottenham team under Ange can be. So it's always an evolving thing. So we haven't got a starting point to base it on or what we expect. So on the merits of it, start of the season with losing Harry Kane, loads of people wrote us off. I myself, before a ball was kicked, predicted Spurs. I'm not going to change from that just yet because we haven't seen a bad run of form for Spurs. We'll bounce back, how we'll adapt. So as of this moment, we're exceeding expectation in what the results we're getting and some performances. Some performances haven't been great, but we've got the results, which is what Spurs teams have struggled to do in recent years. We'd have decent performances, but we'd struggle to get results. I think the back line now settled with the keeper is a solid point of view. Obviously, we've conceded more goals than we'd like to, but you've got to add 2 penalties in there we've conceded. Take that down to 6. You're on the same level as Arsenal. So that's not a bad thing to do, like goals conceded. The midfield, barring the silly red card for Basuma, the midfield's working well. You got Basuma. Sarr is having a great season. For me, I think he's having a really good season. You got Maddison there creating a lot. The front line has been hit and miss. Kulusevski giving good performances, but not being too clinical for me. I think I want to see him back to what he was under Conte. Son moved into the middle was the right thing to do for him because clinical finisher wasn't happening for Charlison. And on the left, we've been a bit hit with injuries. Perisic, Solomon, and there was another person like Brendan Johnson, or if you count him on the right. So although we've had problems up front, and obviously Richarlison's not firing and going on the left and still not really performing, we've got to the point where we've got 20 points from a possible 24.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd have asked for that to any Tottenham fan before the start of the season and say you'd be top 8 games in the international break, Spurs fans probably would have laughed, or like all of us would have laughed. I think Ange has done wonders. The management team, I think he's got the leadership team, he's got spot on because it's made Romero mature. I mean, it's made him go, I can't look. He still loves to crunch and tackle, but he's doing it with a more level head. He knows when to and all that. So it's basically, I think it's elevated his game. Because he's bringing the team together. I doubted the Son choice as captain. I'd like to be proven wrong. He's basically brought in a good feel-good factor and galvanised the team. And Maddison, I think people look up to him because of the type of player he is, and on the pitch, he's kind of a leader in the playmaking. So just everything on the pitch for Spurs as a team, although it's not been 100% sensational because we're a team learning, developing, it's been a good start to the season. It's been a great start to the season. Will it continue? We all hope it will. Obviously, we're going to have games where we drop points, but that's for the future. We'll see how we react. The big, mark for me on this start to the season is the Carabao Cup. I didn't like the 9 changes. I didn't like the effort from the people who were supposedly trying to fight for a place in this team. Spurs, I think I can speak for all Spurs fans, where we won a trophy. Take every cup competition. We're not in Europe, so why can't you take the cup competition seriously? Didn't happen. We went out. That was where I voiced my opinion massively. And I put some Ange's way because I think he made too many changes. I think he could have been like, well, hold on, this is what I'm doing. So I put some of the blame his way. People obviously was it from higher up that told him to do it? I don't know. You instantly think because of what's happened previously, that's where you look to. But Spurs need to take trophies or aiming for trophies seriously, and we didn't do that. I don't know if it was like because we wanted to focus on the league, but yeah, that was the massive, down point for me this season so far. But as long as we get back to winning ways and get back to looking at obviously the league and continuing playing well like we did before the thing in the coming games, it's only going to be a plus for Spurs for the until we hit that first speed bump. But like I said, when we get to that speed bump, we've got to see how we react. But for what I've seen the 8 games in the Premier League, very solid. Problem areas, but a great start.
Okay. No, excellent. I agree with you most of everything, and including the one stain regards to the Carabao Cup. Before I go to Stel on his opinion, once again, guys, I know it's very sensitive topic, but let's try to. We're a diverse fan base. Let's try to stay away from the comments. I'm not saying not to believe and have support for the two countries, but here we don't want infighting whatsoever. So let's please keep Israel and Palestine out of the chat. I beg you, please, let's keep it out of the chat. Stel, your current state of the team, Tottenham, from the beginning to this point, what's the current state of this team? What do you think?
What do I think? I'm with Alan. It's hard to tell, isn't it, after 8 games? They've exceeded my expectations. I thought we were going to be 8th, mid-table, struggle. We've done the opposite. We've got off to a really good start. Some of the football we play at times has been so good, like really good. Other times it looks like we're struggling. Sometimes we deserve the ending to some of the games. Other times you could say, do you know what, that was a little bit of luck there. We got away with one. But when I look at the other teams, right now, when I look at the main rivals for, let's call it, anything between 1st and 4th place, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, and Tottenham, none of them have blown me away. I don't look at Arsenal and think, wow, you're so freaking amazing. They're very solid. They're very controlling of games. But when we played them, I was actually surprised how we bossed large parts of that game. I'm not convinced by Man City at the moment, but they do this all the time. So this is the Man City way, right? Liverpool, they look really good going forward, but defensively they can be got at. We got at them. Brighton got at them. They go 1-0 down most games. And then you look at us, we're pretty much a mixture of all of those teams at the moment. Bit of this, bit of that. So it's hard to tell, Mari. I don't know. I actually don't know. What I will say is there's a very good structure in the academy. There's a very good structure in the transfer operations. We've got a manager that seems to be what we need. There's a group of players that want to be there. So in terms of foundations being laid, it looks really exciting, actually. But I don't know about you, Alan, but I've said this January, I'm going to see what we do, and that will tell me whether or not things are really changing or not, because it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because Van der Ven, Vicario, Udogie, Maddison have all hit the ground running. All of them just bang from the off. Like that never happens. I don't know any team that ever happens, right? Yeah. And I want to see if we go and do the same, like when we bought Kulu and Bentancur, we're going to go do that again in January. And then next summer, we're going to go and buy another Maddison, another Basuma, another Van der Ven. Because if we keep doing that, you won't hear me talk about Levy. You will not hear me talk Levy out. But I don't know, Murray. I'm with Alan. It's a bit too early.
Just obviously to touch on what Stel said, I've said that on my channel. Look, the starting point, I don't want his owners in. I haven't for a long time and all that because, it's literally football's been secondary for him for so long. So I completely agree. the thing is, this transfer window, it seems like they're finally doing what is best for a manager. They're getting the right players in for what Ange wants, and it looks like they're finally taken them 20 odd years, but learned a proper lesson. And in fact, they've got the right manager for the right team, for the right system, for the right players. It seems like they're trying to do the right thing. But in January, obviously, we know we lose some players to tournaments. Are you going to put back into the squad and, not just plug gaps, but get quality players that will push the first team, break into the first team, or be quality and improve on the team, like the subs who aren't performing? If you do that, that's good. Then obviously, again, what does it go into the summer? Does it go into the summer where we go, okay, one player here? No, you need 2 or 3. The best manager in world football that's ever, for me, that's ever been, has been Sir Alex Ferguson. What did he do? Even players who were getting, people thought couldn't be replaced, he would 2 or 3 each season, and he would put people out and bring people in, and it kept it fresh and it kept him at the top. Spurs and this ownership have always got so close, but then sold a manager, sold Pochettino, Mourinho, even Conte. You buy winning managers and you don't give them the tools to win now. And again, until I see it on a consistent basis, I like what we're doing now, but until I see it on a consistent basis with this ownership and going, here, I'm always going to revert back to what I know is that they're going to let this manager down. And I'm hoping this is the one time they prove me wrong. And again, if they do, and they continue supporting this manager and give him the tools to do the job and do everything they possibly can, then yeah, I won't say anything like that. And I just have that feeling it's going to, one point, hit us in the face like it normally does.
Yeah. And thank you for addressing it. I just saw it.
Murray, can I just add to this, right?
Yeah.
So recently I've been getting a bit of stick because people are saying, "Oh, you're Levy in now," right? Or you're you've flip-flopped. Right? I want to make 2 things clear. Firstly, all the protesting, all the chanting in the stadium, all the black balloons saying Enoch out, Levy out that I've been throwing on the pitch, all the banners that have been smuggled into the stadium, all the social media posts, all the purple and gold, all of it. I did that because I want a manager to be backed. That's why I've done it. So if we start doing it, it's a bit difficult for me to carry on doing the thing that I've been doing to get us to what we're doing now, right? If they stop doing it, I will go even more than what I did before, right? So that's the first thing. I'm not Levy in. I'm Levy out until he gets this to where we want it to be, right? The second thing is when I say backing a manager, because I had this argument the other night with an Arsenal fan that come on the show with Will and I. Backing a manager isn't spending £200 million in a window. It's how we spend it, who decides how we spend it, and the manager being given more than 18 months to do the job, right? Yeah. So if the shit hits the fan with Ange and we sack him, nothing's changed for me. Absolutely nothing has changed, because we probably will hit a tough period. It's inevitable. That's where we will see whether a manager's being backed. Because if Ange is here in 3-4 years' time, and we keep having windows like the one we had, that's all I want.
It goes to like what I say when people say, "Oh, like they say flip flop and all that." It's not. You can change your opinion based on new information and new evidence. So if this is now the new norm, where they buy the right players for Ange and say to Ange or whoever's doing the buying, whether it's Lange, I don't want to mispronounce his name. I butcher names all the time. But if it's everyone working in cohesion and moving in the right direction, that's what we as want to see. That's what as fans we want to see. The right players for the right manager, giving everything, we're trying to set you up for success. It's all on you guys to do it now. But if, like you say, they sack a manager or anything like that, and people just going, "Oh, you can't flip-flop, can't change." I'm sorry, you can. You can have more than one thought process at a time. People that only think one-dimensionally and go, "Oh, you said this, so you can't now change your mind." No, that's not how football works. If something changes and new evidence comes to light in a new way that Spurs are doing business and backing the manager and everything like that, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm on board. And again, why would you then, if you held the club to account and this is what you want, and like same here, you want to see Spurs challenging and winning trophies on a consistent basis, and then now doing that, you're not going to protest against the things that you wanted, because they're doing what you wanted. it makes no sense when people say you can't change your mind. You absolutely can. You can. It's just weird. I don't get it.
Yeah. Big up.
I agree with Alan. And to people in the comments, I am 100% Levy out. In 3 years' time, I will tell you if I'm still Levy out, because then I'll know if Andrew's still here and been back. Until then, I'm Levy out. If we win trophies this year, then I might have to just go a bit quiet. But
big up.
Step by step, people. Step by step.
Perfect segue, because I 100% agree with Alan and Estelle in regards to the current state of the team. I also agree with the one negative, the one stain, and going back to the Carabao Cup. I'll put Conrad's point, and I agree with here. Fantastic start, beyond my expectations. The only stain is, if Ange has higher ambitions, and this goes into even a point of top 4, right? Is that our end goal, right? Our end goal should really be trophies, right? Or the process of building a team that is going to win trophies, take things seriously. And so I agree with Conrad, because we knew that Poch didn't really take the domestic cups seriously. And so that's the only stain. But other than that, expectations has been changed. On my end, not so much in a sense, because what I wanted to see is a direction of this team, an ethos, right? A DNA, a philosophy. We only have an 8-game sample, but I'm starting to see, okay, this is the type of team that we're going to be. But now here's the question. We're top of the league, right? Does our expectations change because we're top of the league, or do we have to wait till December if we're still somewhat around that? I mean, realistically, I don't think anybody thinks that we're going to win the league. But, there are people who live the here and now. We're on top of the league, so you have to hope. So it's a fight between being realistic and having that hope. But are we? I guess what I'm trying to say is, because of the start of our season, Alan, does that mean our expectations, as the question says, has it changed? Does it need to change? Or is it still the same? Hey, our goal was, no matter where we finish, 5th, 4th, 8th, we have an identity.
Yeah. Look, for me, expectations change. For me, no. There are some fans that have let their imagination run away with them. And obviously, if they have, that's good if that's what they want to believe. Some fans have said we're in a title race, like I have seen it, and obviously having disagreements or debates with Arsenal fans online saying that, it's a North London thing. That's what my show was about earlier on, tongue in cheek. But I'd had an Arsenal fan and we were talking about obviously us and them so far this season. Look, it can't change after 8 games because we've had testing times and we've come out of them this time, but we haven't had the time where we've lost and see how this young team with this manager reacts after a loss. Because a loss could be, you could have a bad day, a red card. The next time you're very unlucky and you lose to a 1-0, then you could have an injury, and pretty soon you have one game turn into 3 or 4 games without a win, and then obviously we're right back where people expect us to be. It can change in the fact that how we see this team, because new players coming in, we were saying it's going to take time to adapt on that. And to point, it still is, because you've got all these players playing well and stuff like that. But again, the amount of times I see rival fans going, Spurs are playing at their max. We don't know that we're playing at our max because nobody knows what this could be with Ange. So we have no clue if we're playing anywhere near our highest level. Only time will tell. So I don't like what people say in regards to that. I think we're expecting now, every time we see this team go onto the pitch, we're expecting good football, attacking football, on the front foot football, which is what we haven't seen for a while. So I think the expectations of performances has changed, but not overall where we will finish in the league has changed. I think fans are obviously most fans are being reserved because we don't know how we're going to react. But performance-wise, yes. Overall in the league or league finish, no, not a change for that for me.
So, has expectations changed for you, or is it still the
100%.
same?
Yeah, for me, 100%. I'm a bit different here. I started the season saying I just hope we get back into Europe. So 7th or 6th, I would have accepted, I guess. But now it has to be top 4. I will be really disappointed if we don't get top 4 now. There was that stat they put up on Match Today last week when we beat Luton that out of the 28 teams that had 20 points after 8 games, 26 of those teams went on to finish top 4. 11 of those went on to win the league, and only 2 of them dropped out of finishing top 4. So for us now to be in this position and to be that tiny percentage that doesn't get top 4, I would genuinely be gutted. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think we're going to get it all our way. Man United, they've had a crap start to the season. I think they're only 8 points off of first, right? 8 points. So that's us drawing a couple of games. They win 2. Now it's 2 points, 3, 4 points, whatever. So it's not going to be easy, but I think the way we're playing, the togetherness in the team, the fans behind the team, and a couple of injuries coming back, Johnson and Bentancur, plus not having midweek football. Honestly, my expectation now has just shifted completely. It has to be top 4.
Is it because of, say twofold? Is it because the other teams that we thought would be up there are struggling, like the Chelseas or the United? And then my second thing is, are you considering? I saw the stat, I saw the fact, and yes, injuries affect all teams, but some teams they have the depth where we just have the first 11, and so it's kind of hard for me to kind of.
But Murray, let me tell you what it is, right? It's not just that. It's small things. It's like the finer details. For example, we've got more home games to play than what we have away games, right? We've played a lot of away games.
That's true.
Okay. Secondly, the London derbies, Crystal Palace, Fulham, West Ham, Arsenal, the second time we play them, they're all at home. The London derby games are some of the trickiest ones. They're all at our ground, bar maybe one, I think. It's little things like that. So I just think now Tottenham, and you know what? The things change, man. Like last year, Arsenal never in a million years thought they're going to be in a title race. They were genuinely title contenders. They were top of the table for like 230 odd. That was insane. For them to not go into that January window and buy a striker to get them over the line, they screwed up, right? They shot themselves in the foot. So if it gets to January and Spurs are either in a title race or genuinely top 4 contenders, it's on us to get the players to get it over the line. So for me, it's in our hands. Listen, I'll say it now. I think Spurs will get top 4. And I'm probably going to do another forfeit. Stelios in the mud, all the usual. But when you look at the fine details, when you look at the fact that out of the top 10 teams in the Premier League, we're the only ones that don't have Europe in the top table. The top 10 right now, we're the only ones. I just think, and being out the Carabao Cup, like Alan said, it's an absolute scam what happened. Yeah. But again, that works to advantage in the league table. So I'm from finishing 8th. I'm saying we're going to get top 4 now. I do, and I do think we will do it. I think we'll just about get over the line. For top 4.
Look, that's absolutely fine. I'm not a bit more reserved in the thing that I think is still going to be like that. I'm not fully on that train. Just the fact is that if, say, we lose Romero, who might be missing this weekend, he might be out for a while. Like if he could be out for a while, if you lose Romero, you've got Dyer or Phillips. If you lose Maddison, who maybe Lo Celso. If you lose Son, you've got Reliant and Charles. If we get to January and we're in the same, like in this area, and then we can act like, then I'm all for it because I think you're going to do the right things. I think from now until January, if we get a key injury to an area and the drop off, you know, I just think.
All right, Alan, let me ask you a question. Right? Because this is the question I asked. I asked Mari the exact question a few days ago.
Yeah.
And he and then he got stuck. Right. I'm asking you the same question.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Who everyone does.
Hmm.
Who are the 4 teams that finish above us?
Who are the 4 teams that finish above us?
Yeah.
Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Villa finish above us as well.
Villa. No, I think Villa will get like. I think Newcastle.
Newcastle have just lost Tonoli to.
Oh, I thought you meant last season. Sorry,
no, this season.
This season. I thought you meant as in. I thought you meant who finished above us last season.
Yeah, like if Spurs, if you're not predicting Spurs to get top 4, my question would then be, who's finishing above us?
So are you saying that what is it definitely that Tonali? What is he suspended or something like that?
No, he has his betting thing ongoing.
He's done it. He's admitted it. He's come out and admitted it.
Yeah, he's going to be.
I don't know how long his ban's going to be. It's not been official yet.
It's supposed to be a year. It's supposed to be a year.
Plus, they've got Europe. Europe to juggle.
Look, I think they'll go close to Newcastle. They were were they in my top 4? I can't remember. Look, I've done my thing. I remember where I put Spurs 6th, but I'd had 5 teams ahead of us before that. I think United was one of them. I'll rule them out now. So I get what you're saying, but I just think if my worry is, I know people were saying in the comments that, you know, it's happening for everyone, but look at the drop-off in performance for Man City, losing 2 big players. If they have same numbers for Spurs, that's the only reason I'm not like with Stell in regards saying I believe top 4 is, you know, I've changed my mindset. I still think if we get to January and we're around the same era or we're in the top 4 and comfortably, then yeah, you have to get those extra players when the players go away and do their, you know, duty like Son and the AFCON. If you bring in the right players, then yeah, I'll be right there with Stell saying for me, top 4 is an absolute must from this point. But I just think it's too early. But if we get to October, November, and we're getting closer to that thing, you know, and it's still going to think, then I'll probably say I'd bump us up to 5th, maybe going on 4th ahead of January. But just at this moment, it's a bit too early for me. But I'm loving Stell's positivity. Who thought Stell would be on the
it's just
it's just looking at it. The negative one, because I agree with Alan. I just need more time to.
I don't understand who finishes above us right now. I look at our defense and I think defensively we look so good right now. Okay, yes, 1 injury we're screwed, but you could say 1 injury to Arsenal, they lose Saliba, they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Let Arsenal lose Saliba, let's see what happens. You could say the same for most teams, right?
Yeah.
Midfield, we lose. Let's say we lose Bissouma. Well, what's Arsenal going to do if they lose Declan Rice? They're in trouble. So I don't necessarily think it's as bad as if we lose a couple of players. I think that applies to everyone. I don't know, man. I don't know who finishes above us. I agree. Liverpool, probably. Let's see. Arsenal and Man City, you'd say that's pretty much certain. Then it's who? So either Brighton, Villa, or Newcastle. I think we're better than them.
I agree with Stell here. I have us down for top 4 now. I have us down as 4th. And the 3 teams above were exactly the same 3 teams that Stell just said. So, yeah.
Everyone agrees on the top 3. Yeah, right? Everyone agrees on the top 3.
I've got Liverpool as 3rd, and I think I've got Arsenal as 2nd, and City as 3rd.
Let me ask you a question. And big up Has for coming in. What were your expectations before the season started, right? After Kane, first game, Brentford, what was your expectations? And now I'm guessing it's changed because you say you agree with Stell. I mean, has it changed from the first game of the season?
Yeah, I have to admit it has changed somewhat. I did expect us to finish in the top 6, 7, I'd say. So back into Europe in some capacity. But now, based on the first 8 games and how quickly the team's gelled, which has surprised me, like drastically surprised me, considering we had a new manager and we've added 3 or 4 players and we changed the formation completely. And it's just it's like they've clicked where it might have taken. And I know everyone's going to say about Arsenal, but it took them a few years for them to really click. It's taken us like a month for them to really get to grips of the system and the philosophy that they brought into it straight away. And I think we should be in the Champions League next season, I think. And with the 1 game a week, I think is also another factor because other teams around us were playing in Europe. I mean, Brighton struggled in Europa League the other day. I think it's Athens. Villa, their first European adventure. I imagine Emery will take it seriously. So there's other factors as well. And the first time we finished in the top 4 under Redknapp, I seem to remember us not being in Europe. We had the domestic stuff, and then we did get to the semi-finals against Portsmouth where we lost, but we didn't actually play in Europe that season. So I think we'll probably repeat something like that again.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, it is. Like I said, it's a balance of, because I've watched all the channels. It's a struggle of being hopeful because don't get me wrong, and that's Alan. He's a
because we're badly scarred, Murray. We're badly scarred as fans. We're bad.
I was talking to Ash about this last night after the show. How scarred I am from Tottenham.
I mean, we're suffering from post-traumatic leaving disorder, and I want to be hopeful, and I am hopeful, but I'm also I gotta see time. I need this larger samples, sample to kind of have me because once I get excited, there's always a letdown that comes in. But then again, I already feel that we already hit our expectations. Like you're seeing that identity. We haven't had that the last couple of years, and we kind of had a mistaken identity, right? From Poch to Jose to Conte, kind of like a mistaken identity. Now that we have it, right? We already hit those expectations. Now, my only thing, and I guess from this Ange era, right? I forgot what show I was watching where we were talking about, okay, is our end goal now that we are playing the type of football that we want, is this the end goal of playing pretty football? Because Daniel Levy never says, we're going to win the Premier League. We're going to win this trophy, right? And from my interviews from Ange, he's technically never said that other than say play good football. Is good football the end point for our team? And if it is, then I'm disappointed. Not because it's good football. I'm disappointed because I want to win trophies, right? People might have heard me say this before. I don't care if we play watch paint to dry football. If it's going to win a trophy, I'm happy. I'll take it. If we're playing beautiful football, right, and we're doing it with the squad that we currently have, right, it could get better even with quality, and it leads to trophies. I'm happy. So it is, so for me, it's like time will tell. But yes, it's a really a balance of being hopeful but also being realistic.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Look, I want to again, like Stelwyn has said, who by the way, Haz is normally really negative in my comments, but he's coming in with all the positivity. And I'm loving it. It's a complete change. Normally you're like, this and that, before over me, so it's all good. Yeah, look, I think there has to be. Let's just be honest. There's too many Spurs fans that are happy with just top 4.
You're spot on, Alan. You're literally spot on.
Play good football. You have to get top 4 on a consistent basis. But at some point, it has to be good football, top 4 on a consistent basis, and silverware. It's not just top 4. People don't get into football to finish 4th and get Champions League football in a competition. We've never won. We've come close once, but that's another story. But you don't get into that where you don't. Football is about winning trophies, winning titles, and we have to start doing that at some point. For me, it can't just be about getting top 4. Yeah,
I've been there, done that. I've seen it. Yeah. I'm jealous of you guys because I became a fan 07, 08, so I've only seen 1 trophy.
Mario, I've only seen 2.
Yeah. So we're anorexic compared to Stell and Alan. I'm an anorexic. I've seen 1.
Yeah, I've seen 3. I literally have this. So I started supporting Spurs in 90 when I was 90, 91 when I was about 5. So I've seen very early 91 where we won the FA Cup, but ones that I remember fully are 2. So yeah.
Oh, the 99 is 99. I was at that game, the Leicester game, and obviously,
Maybe-
08, yeah.
My first year supporting Tottenham, I think I was 8 or 9 years old. We lost the cup final to Coventry City.
Yeah.
Gary Mabbott, our captain, scored an own goal.
The only
It's
FA
just-
Cup final we've ever lost, isn't it? We've won 8 from 9. I think
Yeah.
that's the only one we've ever lost. 81 or 82? Was it 82?
And we were far better than them. We just fucked it up.
Yeah.
So, the big news before we get to a very big question, possible injuries, is looking like there's a little bit of a over exaggeration with the injuries yesterday, and good, though it is scary because, like I said, we're one injury away in the midfield, and well, not so much in the midfield. I mean, because Hoiberg and Skip, I guess, are better than what the defense if we lose Romero or Van de Ven or Udoji or Porro, and then up front, Sonny. It will be devastating because we all know what we feel about Richarlison. But the one thing I will say this, very interesting, and Romero said this today, and he has gotten a lot of stick because people say he cares more about Argentina than Tottenham. I would say this is pretty much every Argentinian, Brazilian, like, if you understand the culture, not to say globally, no one cares naturally about their country, but in South America, like, this is the creme de la creme. Messi got criticized before we won the Copa, when he retired. You care more about Barcelona than your national team. Vinicius, I know Brazilians here in Orlando, Florida, they're like, Vinicius needs to show up in the next Copa America. They don't care what he does at Real Madrid. But I mentioned this because of Romero's statement. Romero said, the right ankle was swollen too much. That's why I decided to go out at halftime. And I was watching the game. Since we have an important home game with Tottenham Hotspur on Monday against Fulham. And that comment, a lot of people will say, you know what? He does care about Tottenham. I'm like, he chose us when we had Nuno, right? I understand, and I'm not saying it's right. He really did not like Conte. He said it. He apologized. He's been given vice captain. We're seeing Romero, who is passionate about Tottenham. Those comments yesterday said, I wanted to come out because I know we have a big game Monday. And he took a lot of stick, from some people. I know Dan TFHC. I know he said a couple of people were coming out. He does not care about Tottenham. Maybe he didn't care about Conte, And yes, is it unprofessional? Yeah. You know what? I agree. It is unprofessional. But he cares about the club to the point to say, hey, take me out of the game. Any thoughts about what I just said and the possible injuries?
Yes, I was going to say with Romero, I think a lot of the misconception, and I have to admit, I was one of those people, so I'll hold my hands up. I thought after the World Cup, I didn't feel like his body language to me didn't really show that he wanted to be there. Whether that was the Conte thing that we didn't know about till later on, I don't know. But I just felt like he was too good.
It was Conte.
Too good. Yeah. He in the end, obviously we know, but at the time, I think it came from the fact he thought he was too good for that team that he was playing with, especially with like Dyer and defenders like that. And I thought he was just taking too many liberties in that season, I guess, in that time period after the World Cup. But I think obviously he's shown this season that he does care because he's been given the vice captaincy, and he did want to stay. I think he made a statement, I don't remember when it was, saying he turned down offers or something like that to stay at Spurs. So I think it comes from that after World Cup hangover. I think how to phrase it. I think that's where it comes from. But I think he's shown that he does care now. So
yeah.
Look, in regards to Romero, I think he's always cared. I think obviously there was a lot of, for whatever reason, I don't want to go into it, but last season there was a lot of whether it was players not responding or whatever, like it was a bit of more negative feeling in the dressing room. And I think it basically had a lot of people not really putting in 100%, which obviously you have to hold them accountable for, because it doesn't matter. You're there to do a job. You're paid handsomely to do a job. You're not given £10 and a curly whirly to go and play football. You're given $100,000 a week. It's ridiculous. So you've always got to put in 100%. So I hold them accountable. But Romero, for me, like has just alluded to, is basically stepped up. He's taken a leadership role. I think he's putting people like the rumours or the people moaning saying he doesn't put Spurs first to bed. So I think he'll play on Monday. I think his ankle will be fine.
He'll be okay.
Yeah, the whole Son thing, when I saw like he kept like all the videos people put in socials about him holding his leg or stuff like that, I was kind of like, oh no, I don't know about him. But then I the only person to turn to about Son is Will. I saw Will say that he finished the game and he was fine after 90 minutes. So I can sleep tight at night knowing that all's good with Heung-min Son, because Will knows Heung-min Son. So
was it on the stream yesterday, Alan? Were you watching it? Because he said on the stream that it was fine. Son was fine. He was just trying to get a foul or something.
Yeah.
He has to stay in the game. Apparently,
because on the stream with him yesterday. So yeah.
Apparently, Son asked to stay in the game. So.
Well, Will told us all last night on Ash's show yesterday. I was hosting, saying that he was just trying to get an injury out of a foul, and he's fine. And apparently, people didn't understand the commentary, but obviously Will does. I mean, obviously we know he's just on obsessive, so he understood the commentary, and he knows Korean. So, and so obviously he told us, he's fine. He was just trying to get a foul. That's all it was. But obviously, social media went ballistic.
I thought Son hobbled off. That's why at half time, didn't he?
But Alan's right. Will's like the best source. So.
Yeah. Okay, Will's on the case. Will knows it's fine.
So we trust Son is okay, and which is good. And yep, Son is fine. Thank you. And I will tell you that Romero is fine. Since I am Mr. Argentina, everything knows about Argentina.
Murray, you know what? I think they're all going to be fine. Plus, Lo Celso, Brian Hill, and Johnson will all be back as well. I reckon I think we're actually going to have probably our strongest team we've had this Monday.
So, which goes to our main question of the day and our last question of the day, before we talk about predictions for the Fulham game, is Spurs goals. The next 4 games, right? 4 games until the next international break, right? It's been 4, 4, and 4, and so. These next 4 games, what do you want to see from this team the next 4 games that is important? Because, and I'll pull up the schedule, the next 4 games that we play is Fulham, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, which is a tricky game. I think Chelsea's coming back on the up and up, and Wolves. Right, you would think, okay, maybe we could get 12 points, 10 or more, 10 or more from the 12 points available. Because after that international break, then comes a real hard period. Villa, City, West Ham, Newcastle. We have 7 games in December, but in these next 4 games, before the next international break in November, what do we want to see? I'll tell you guys right now. Of course, number 1, health, good health, because as long as we're healthy, this helps our chances in regards to top 4 and seeing what may happen in January. Number 2, I want to see, because of the teams that we're playing, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, and Wolves, a little bit more incorporation of Valise. I actually want to see a little bit more of a incorporation of Valise and possibly Phillips. If we are leading comfortably, maybe get him some game time. Those are some of the things I want to see the next 4 games. There's some other ones, but I'll let you guys go, and I'll start once again with Alan. In these next 4 games, what are some goals for Spurs you think you want to see?
So for me, look, we've had the games coming up. Fulham for me is a must-win, and I'll say it because look, this is the first game back after the international break. You want to start off on the front foot, so get that win off the bat first. However you do it, even if you have to win ugly and win 1-0, you get that win. The Palace away game is going to be tough. They are playing well. They've had some good games. They've also had some bad games. But normally when we go away to Palace, our history from memory isn't that great since Poch days. I think we struggle to get points there, or we lose, or we get a odd point here or there. So I want us to go there, still play the same way. I don't want us to shy away from it. I don't want us to get overawed. I want us to play the same way because they're going to come at us, and this is where Spurs can get at teams. So obviously playing away from home, the Fulham game, the reason I say ugly is I think they'll come in, they'll predominantly sit, and then we'll have to break them down. Whereas Palace will attack us. I want us to play the same way and create spaces and get in behind and get the 3 points. The Chelsea game is going to be a bit of a weird one because Chelsea are finally starting to pick up some form, but you can say they beat Fulham, who are very inconsistent, who we have to play, and also beat Burnley, who we beat them 5-2 because Burnley are just trying to attack everyone and they're getting caught out. They need to change tactic, Burnley. So is the Chelsea performances against teams that they should be getting results against? Is it a full storm for them, or is it literally them progressing? That's the one I can't pinpoint. Also, you got Poch coming back. That's going to add extra spice to it. I think that could be the first blip, like whether it be not a loss, but like a point. We drop points. And then who was the last game again? Sorry?
The last game will be Wolves.
Is that home or away? I'm not sure.
The Wolves game is... it's on the road. That's a tough... Yeah, the Molnex. That's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, they've been a tough...
Sorry, Mario, what'd you call it? The what? I call it Molnex. The Molnex. The Molnex. I love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Wolves have been a poor team, but they've got slightly better.
I love how to pronounce it.
Molyneux.
They've got slowly better over time as the season gone, and obviously they did shock Man City, so it's not going to be an easy game. But again, away from home, I feel more confident in the fact that teams are going to try and attack us, and that's where we'll have they're going to open up and we'll find space in behind. At home, not Chelsea necessarily, but teams are going to sit in against us. I want to see us to be able to continue to break teams down. I think the mindset of this team and the fact that because we turn so many games around late is that we will play to the end. We are not done until we're done. We are not defeated until that full-time whistle goes. So that's a big plus for us in the mindset of this team. I want to see us to continue with that mindset, continue to apply our type of football and take our chances because people are saying, oh, you're giving up quite a few chances and you're scoring only like this amount of goals. But the amount of chances we've created, we should have been scoring more than we have. We've created way too many chances. We're not taking nowhere near enough. If we start hitting, on another day, let's be honest, we beat Luton 5-0, and it's done in 30 minutes, but we didn't take chances. If we start becoming more ruthless in front of goal and taking our chances, then that's just only going to help us. I want to see the same for Spurs, playing to the end, playing the type of we do, not changing for anyone, and I think if we do that and we play how we've been playing under Range and don't deviate from that and play the same type of football, the same type of intensity, same type of, attacking intent, I think we get 10 points from 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I go to Stell, in the next 4 games, because I forgot to say this, I also want to see a pulse from Richarlison. Just a pulse. That's how bad he's been. Just a pulse from him these next 4 games.
Yeah.
We'll go to we'll go to Haz and then we'll go to Stell. Haz, this next 4 games, what do you want to see? What would you like to see?
Off the bat, I'd like to see 12 points.
Yeah.
An ideal world. I think against Fulham, I'm confident we'll get the job done. We've had this international break. Obviously, you said Romero's probably going to play now. Sonny's going to play now. I think most of the players will be fit to play. So even if we're missing Bissouma, I think we'll be all right. Palace away on a Friday night is the one game that really actually scares me the most. not the Chelsea game, because I don't know, Palace away seems like a very tricky game for us to maneuver. It's on an awkward time as well, so we've got only a 3-day break. This season we've had weeks, like 7-day break, 6-7 day break. So this for me is like a first test. Is he going to rest players on Monday? Is he going to do something different against Palace because we're playing within the same game, like literally within 5 days, 2 games? And then Chelsea, I think, will be a game where I think we'll win, like we'll scrape a win. But it's going to be like an emotional game, so we're going to have to just manage the emotions of it all and to see it through. Obviously, Poch coming back is a factor because I don't know how our fans are going to react to that, because I'll be there, but I don't know how fans will react to it either way. They're going to clap him or they're going to boo him. God knows what's going to happen that night.
Yeah.
And then Wolves away, I'm confident. I think we'll see it through. I think they play quite an open game, and I think that plays to our favour, and I think we'll beat them. But the one banana skin I think that we might lose is Palace away.
Okay.
This is where it's placed, and the amount of days in between, I think, is a tricky one.
Yeah. I think it's Monday, Friday, Monday.
I think there's like, wait, is it? It's like a 6-7 day break or something between, I think, the Friday game and the other Monday game. It's on the 4th of November. We play Monday 23rd, and then whether that Friday is, and then we play on the 4th. So there's enough of a break between the Chelsea game and the Friday game. Yeah.
Before we go to Stowe, Scott brings up a good point. Anderson has been one of the best center backs. Him and Gahey, like, they've been a very formidable defensive pairing. It's going to be the Crystal Palace game is going to be very, very interesting. And it's a road game, right? It's at Crystal Palace.
It's at Palace, yeah.
That's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. So, these next 4 games, what do you want to see from the team? The style of course, style of play improve. Certain players, some players incorporated, some you want removed. Like, what do you want? What are some goals that you would like to see from Spurs these next 4 games?
I want to see the football played the way we've been playing. We kind of lost our way a bit. I thought second half against Luton. Some say it was tactical, and some say it was because we're down to 10 men. But I don't fully agree with that. But I'm in the minority on that one. When we're playing, we look so good. Like, we really look so good. The way we create overloads, the way we beat the press, 2-man, 3-man, man-to-man press. The amount of chances we create, we look like such a good team. I just want to see us playing that. Push it to another. Can we notch it up now? Can we push it a bit harder and speed up the way we play? That's really what I'm looking for. If we can do that, I think we'll win all 4 games. If we do that, we will win all 4 games. But Crystal Palace and Chelsea have got the best defensive record in the league, except for Arsenal, Man City. They've only conceded 7 goals, both teams. Only Man City and Arsenal have done better. So we're up against some. Either they're lucky and teams don't finish their dinner, or defensively they're not bad. That's going to be a challenge for us because we do struggle with putting the ball in the back of the net. You saw how many chances we missed against Luton, and that was Luton. So that's going to be a challenge for us. And then Wolves, for all the good football they've been playing, they've conceded the most outside of the relegation zone. So, I think 100% we're going to beat Fulham. I don't see us not beating Fulham. We'll beat Fulham. Then we go away to Crystal Palace. I think we'll just win it because Basuma comes back for that game. And I think Basuma, Maddison, Pape Sarr, and then with Lo Celso potentially to come off the bench, I think we win that game but it's going to be probably one of the hardest games we've had this season. And it's on a Friday night. All their fans will be in the pubs, drinking, getting lively. The atmosphere is going to be electric under the lights. We're going to get a 4-day rest. I think we will just win it. The Chelsea game for me We will win that game as long as Basuma doesn't get another yellow card against Palace, because then he's suspended for Chelsea. I don't think we beat Chelsea without Basuma. I think that's what's going to decide that game. If Basuma plays, we'll beat them. And then Wolves away.
Because Chelsea's midfield is not back.
We need Basuma. We need Basuma for that game.
So do you think he might be unorthodox? Do you think he might not play Basuma against Palace?
I think he'll play Basuma if he's fit.
Mm-hmm. This is the question I was going to ask, because it came as a question from my chat on a show I did last week, and somebody said about, I can't remember who it was now, but somebody said, if obviously when to play without him for Fulham, do you then rest him for Palace so you can guarantee he's going to be there for Chelsea? Because he may get another yellow card to fit a fan. And I was at the same thing as Stel. You always play your strongest team no matter what. He's just got to be mature in the fact to not give away a silly foul or to give.
The problem is that, Alan, is after his dive, can you trust him not to do that?
Well, he's got to learn from it. He's an adult. He's got to learn from his mistakes. So I don't think he although he's actually dive, I don't think he just intentionally dives all the time and all that. He was expecting contact. He made a meal of it. He got booked. But for me, you play your strongest team all the time. You don't take any, you don't mess around with the team too much.
Alan, let's also say that a pro football player doesn't want to be missing matches. Like, they want to play. So it's not like he deliberately wanted to be sent off. He just didn't use his brain, did he?
I don't know what he was thinking, to be honest.
He wasn't thinking that.
Classic brain fart. Classic brain fart.
He wasn't thinking. But we'll beat Fulham. We'll just beat Palace. Chelsea depends if Basuma is playing. If we win those three and we go to Wolves, I tell you what, I think we'll give Wolves an absolute hiding. If we win those three, I think we'll give Wolves a hiding. I'm confident, man. Do you know what? I think I'm too confident here. You know that.
I think for me,
I need to rein it in.
I think for me on the Palace game. On the Palace game, for me, it's their center defense, the two center back pairing has been probably, I would say, the best in the league so far this season. But their fullbacks aren't, right? Yeah. And so I think that we'll have one up on them from that particular standpoint. And if we spread, if we continually put that Crystal Palace back line under pressure, right? Like, according to the eye test merchants, Arsenal have the best center back pairing in the league, and some put two past them, right? So
Will, let me pose you a question, right? Because this question for you and Michael, what you want to see these next 4 games. So a game like Palace, is this the game where we see Udogie and Porro really get on the attack? Like, we've seen them on the attack, but this is a type of game where it's just you'll see a goal from, I know Porro scored, off, own goal, but this is the type of game now we'll really see Udogie and Porro on the attack.
Because you've got Palace have had a hard time have been struggling to score goals, right? Yeah. Keeping them out of the back of the net hasn't been an issue for them so far this season. Scoring goals has been. And so it's really only going to take probably 1 or 2. And if we really see Pedro Porro, on the overlap and Udogie on the underlap really getting involved in the attack, I don't see how they keep us out for 90 minutes from scoring one. The number of chances that we're creating, regardless of how good they are, because they are very, very good defensively, especially in the middle of the park. They're going to struggle to keep us from scoring. And I think you saw that against even Arsenal when they played Arsenal, right?
Is there anything else, before I go to Michael, anything else you want to see this next 4 games? Is there a certain player you want to see incorporated? Is there anything else?
Just Brendan Johnson. We got to get somebody on that left wing that can actually score goals. So, whoever that is, I don't know, but somebody's got to do it.
If he's fit, do you think he just walks straight back in over Richarlison? Or do you think
this is the problem with me with Richarlison. I think Richarlison's off the ball movement, like when the ball's not at his feet, what he does there on the left challenges people. I'm not a Richarlison fan, but I think what he does on the left challenges defense is in that area. But the problem is all of that is pointless if you're going to miss sitters every single game that you play.
Yeah.
I'd rather give the defense a little bit of an easier time and actually have somebody who can put the ball on target. Because Brandon Johnson, although he missed a couple of good chances, at least he put them on target. Right? At least they were within the goalposts. Right. So for me, that's the only one that I've got.
Murray, there's one other thing I'd like to see, actually. I was just thinking about it. If, let's say we're 2-0 up against Fulham, 15 minutes to go, or let's say we're 3-0 up against somebody, 20 minutes to go, I really want to see Veliz just go up top.
Yeah.
I want him to play.
I said that was the first thing. Him and Phillips, I actually want to see Phillips get some time if we're in the position, we're up 2-0, second half, to put in Veliz and then get in Phillips.
2-0 is still a bit tight. 4-0, maybe.
Yeah, but with 15 minutes to go, I think you can risk it, right? But one thing I really wanted to say about Crystal Palace, right? I agree with you that their center back pairing is really good, but the fullbacks are bad. Eze is injured. I think he's out for at least a month more, right? And their front three is absolutely shit. Like, those guys cannot score goals. I think they are slowly devolving into that classic Roy Hodgson side. So, stinking out 1-0 wins or 1-0 losses. That's basically what they are doing now, especially without Eze, right? Because there is no creativity in that midfield. And I also think that Olise, I think he's slowly getting back, and I think he might feature, but I doubt he'll play full 90 minutes against us, right? So for me, this Crystal Palace team is toothless. I know this will probably come back and bite me in the ass, right? And they will probably score 3 against us or whatever, right? But yeah, that's my view on Crystal Palace. With Fulham, I think Fulham are...
Michael, just to let you know something. You said that Crystal Palace are terrible up front. You're spot on. Only Luton Town and Bournemouth have scored less goals.
Yeah.
You're right. They're all...
if you look at Crystal Palace, they are either winning 1-0 or losing 1-0. Maybe
0-0 draws. They've got a lot of 0-0 draws.
Yes, they are shocking offensively, in my opinion. So I think we are going to have majority of the ball, and I think, given how bad they are in attack, and given how few chances we will give them, I don't think they will be able to punish us. And I'm seriously saying this with that shadow in mind, that they are probably going to turn up for one game and then revert back to what they are, right? But with Fulham, I think with the home crowd and with our squad, with our proper squad, not the bullshit that we played against them in the Carabao, right? I think we have all the rights to feel confident about this game. But I have to say one thing: this Chelsea fixture fucking stinks. I don't know why, if you guys have the same feeling as I do, but I look at that Chelsea fixture and everything, when you look at it, the way we play, the way they played so far, right? The how offensive we are, how secure at the back we are still one of the better defenses in the league, right? It just stinks. I think I'm just, again, you guys were talking about being scared, being a Spurs fan, right? You just see this batch and then coming to our ground, and added context of Pochettino, and I just literally a pile of shit waiting to be stepped in. I'm not confident about
I think this one's going to come. I think because it's at our place, right? It's not at
our ground, right?
I think that this one's going to come down to the fans. Then the fans, Stell, you guys in the crowd, you got to be giving Pochettino the hardest time he's ever had. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can't be singing Magic. You got to be singing "We Love Big Ends" instead. You know what I mean?
Hey, so Friday, it's going to be on a. It's
Monday night. It's Monday night. Yeah.
You got to be singing Mauricio Frattino.
The atmosphere will be electric.
He's a wanker, you know.
Yeah.
Mauricio Frattino. He's a wanker, you know. You got to be singing that at the stadium.
Do you think the fans
your voice is too nice for fans?
I think they're going
to dumb it down a little bit.
I think Spurs are going to boo Poch. I have a feeling.
You're going to boo? You think they'll boo Poch?
I'm going to be there. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything, but I think people are going to boo him because he went to Chelsea.
Half the fans are going to be boozed up, Haas. The other half are going to be doing all sorts of other stuff,
like
right?
Worship.
you know what? The hatred for that game is immense already. Give people a night out as well. Forget it.
Night out.
It's going to be wild.
I'll see. I hate them for passion, and let alone we're undefeated. It's just like I do not want to lose to Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's just
landing to Chelsea. Right?
Or just
I don't
throw
want to
Poch's
draw.
name into the Judas song. That'll work too.
I don't want to draw. If we draw to Chelsea at home, I'll be disappointed. I'm not going to lie. If we draw to Chelsea at home, I'll be quite disappointed by that.
Of course, I want us to bend them over and do all nasty things, right? I want us to smash them like 4-0, and I think we are capable of doing this. It's just fucking Chelsea. They always do this, right? They always somehow magically, spring of Form 1. I don't know. Are they juicing themselves up, or I don't know. It's just Chelsea, right?
We beat them. We beat them last year at our ground, didn't we?
It was the first time in like years. Yeah.
And now we're better, a lot better.
Yeah.
When you say Chelsea better though as well since last season.
A bit. Yeah, they are a bit better than they were at the beginning of the season, but I still don't think it's like. Listen, as I think Stelio said it. It's Burnley and who else did they beat?
Fulham.
Yeah. So
I'm more worried about the Palace game personally. I don't know why.
That's the weird, yeah.
Because it's on Friday night. I think that's why it's worrying me.
We're winning all four, boys. We're winning all four.
Not too worried about Palace. I just don't want to see. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna be very picky on this. I do not want to see them lot walk into our ground and our fans show Miss Pochettino respect, because then we'll have lost already.
I'm the same.
It's going to be mixed, though, isn't it? It's going to be mixed.
I don't know how.
No, but it can't be. It can't be though now. Right?
Yeah, but we can't forget.
You have to forget.
What
you got to
forget.
We can't.
This has got to be one of.
Listen, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about there's going to be a significant number of fans that are going to just clap.
Look, it's like
you're right.
When you walk.
Others will boo.
That was right.
I'll pose this question: if Pochettino would have won the Champions League and he's coming back, would it be a little bit different in regards?
He wouldn't have got sacked, Murray. He wouldn't have got sacked.
No. I'm talking about the fan reaction in the next couple of weeks.
No, it doesn't matter. He's not here anymore. It's like that first time that you see your ex-girlfriend walk in with your best friend. She left you.
If he beats Arsenal on Sunday, I'll clap him.
Yeah, I'll do the same. Clap him, and then when he gets to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it got to be nothing but booze. Sorry, it doesn't matter what he's done previously and all that. He's with the enemy now. Doesn't matter. So
right. You can't.
I agree with you. But you know how our fan base are. Our fan bases. You still have people who still love Pochettino.
It's sentiment. That's what it is. It's sentiment.
Like, I don't want any Scott M's up in the stadium on that game. You know what I mean? Pochettino.
Murray, you're also underestimating him walking out in a Chelsea kit. That's a big no-no for them fans. That's a big no-no for them.
The watch along, I will just throw up when I see that.
I want to see people from what is it, the West End? I want to see people from the West End just cussing them all game, just rattling in them,
they're a bit corporate, that lot.
I know, but that's the problem. That's the problem. Got too many cheese room guys over there in the West End.
I hate Arsenal, but it's a different type of hate with Chelsea. Chelsea, I just feel like they're kind of indignant, somewhat racist, kind of like,
So the rule is we hate Arsenal the club, we hate Chelsea's
the fan base. The fan base,
the Chelsea fans.
I know some decent Chelsea fans though. Some Chelsea fans are alright.
No. Some of them are. The reason why
there are some Arsenal fans who are decent.
There's some. Yeah, exactly.
Chelsea fans who I stream with hate me because I hold them to account. So they come in and they have a bit of an arrogance about them. Oh, Chelsea, we're this big team, this and the other. Like, it's like they've always been this way. And I would like to remind them that before 2003, we had them beat on every metric trophy-wise. We were a bigger club than them. they are obviously, and this is look. Every team would like an owner that would spend the amount of money and do what they achieved in. But they got that, and they've got better since then. And obviously, they've overtaken us. But the arrogance in the fact that they believe they were always this big club, Chelsea, but they weren't. And that's what I dislike about most Chelsea fans. It's just arrogance.
By the way, one of the comments there was like, "Can you imagine Levy booing?" Like,
yeah.
Pass to him and he's like,
Levy will go on the pitch and shake his hand. That's what's going to happen.
Alex THFC is not going to boo Mr. Box Office. He's going to be giving him a standing ovation.
Really? What?
Alex THFC, yeah, he loves.
Oh, really, Alex? Oh, mate.
I think a good summary is that, I still love Pochettino. I have huge respect for what he's done with us, right? But I think the same, there is this saying of, it's about the badge on the front of the shirt, not the name of the back, right? I think we can kind of apply it in a similar way here, right? I love him, but he has Chelsea badge on his chest, right? For me, as long as he is a Chelsea manager, he's done to me. He's dead to me, right? Sorry, he's the enemy right now, right? If he gets sacked, if he leaves, whatever comes back, I'm fine, right? But as long as he's a Chelsea manager, he's the enemy. That's how I view it. And I know that many.
Michael, I think you're right. To be honest, I don't hate him as a person. I don't think Poch is like a bad guy.
We can clap him after we beat him, but I'm talking about
sing his name after we win.
Michael, if Poch beats Arsenal, right, and this weekend, and then Poch bends over and let us just whoop Chelsea, would you give him some forgiveness?
Yes.
Yes.
So fickle, man. So fickle.
Can you imagine if he actually set up Chelsea to lose, done something?
So, if he wants to be an agent provocateur inside their dressing room, I'm cool with that, right? Yeah. In fact, I would give him even bigger up, right? If he's an undercover agent, that's even, then we can sing his name right along. Pasicagos, but
so everyone here thinks 12 out of 12 points.
I'm saying 9, unfortunately.
Big up Judge Mo in the chat.
I said 10 out of 12.
I'm saying 9. I had 10. Stowe has 12 out of 12. Will has 12 out of 12.
Only Murray, I'm 12 out of 12 as long as Basuma plays in the Chelsea game.
Yeah, you did say that with a caveat. Yeah, I agree with you. If he's not game, that's a whole different ballgame. Big up to Mo. Go watch his channel, subscribe and like. Big up to Mo. He's in the house. Did you have 12 out of 12, Michael?
Nah, I'm flip-flopping between 10 and 8. I think we won't lose. I'm just wondering which matches we will draw. I seriously have a stinky feeling about Chelsea. And I wouldn't, we have Molineux and Selhurst Park away, right? So those two grounds are a bit, shaky. So, yeah.
Before we take predictions of the Fulham game, because it's been out there, I think this is a meh move. Calvin Phillips, I'm seeing him everywhere. And like I said, I'm not a big Højbjerg fan, but if you're telling me Calvin Phillips is an upgrade on Højbjerg, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like, meh, I don't think so. And what do you guys think of Calvin Phillips? I'll start with Alan again.
Look, it's not sensational, but if it is. Do I think he's an upgrade on Højbjerg? Honestly, I do. Is it by much? Not really. It's not the level you'd want or hope that we'd be upgrading to. But yeah, I understand people like Højbjerg because he runs around a lot, slaps the badge and shows passion, but he's not the level Spurs need. Phillips isn't either, but he is for me a slight upgrade. I think he's obviously tackling wise, I'd give it to Højbjerg, but everything else in regards to progression on the pitch, I'd give it to Phillips. But then, like I said, this is all based on how Bentancur comes back. If he comes back the same player, I wouldn't waste the money in that area. I'd get another centre back and a striker, or a backup or a winger, to fill that area because Richarlison's not doing it. But it just depends on how Betancourt comes back. If he's not the same player and it's like obviously one of those injuries that are pretty much going to cut a career short, then okay. But then I would still go for better than Phillips. So it doesn't make me go, oh yeah, this is a game changer. But I think he's an improvement on Højbjerg. Just
Has Calvin Phillips? Do you rate him? I mean, he was okay with Leeds and he was good, but just didn't work out with City. Big up Ash. She called him Casper. He called him Casper. I was like, that's a good analogy.
Ash comes up with some great stuff.
Does he?
But
do you fancy Phillips?
I'm a big Calvin Phillips fan, actually. I've liked him since he was at Leeds. I thought at City he wouldn't actually get game time, even though he went there, because City have so many options. And to me, it's like, well, I'm not like so disappointed he's not playing, because I kind of expected it to happen. I know there's this, I'm sorry in the comments about him being fat and stuff, but I think what you have to understand is he's behind Rodri in the pecking order, and Rodri's arguably the best defensive midfielder in Europe or maybe in the world right now. I mean, it's possible. And to get into the City side is very difficult with the amount of quality and talent they have. Now, the positives, I think, with Calvin Phillips is he's homegrown. We're going to have to look at that, I think. He'll come with a point to prove, and I always like players coming with a point to prove, because I think they'll give an extra 20%, 30%. What I really like about him is his passing range, and he's got his long range passing. I think they'll give us something different. And I think he gives us like a different option in terms of playing style. Like we could maybe play a bit more, like, what's the word? Make the pitch bigger with him, someone like him in the team. I know Maddison does that as well, but I think even to like a greater extent. And yeah, I've always really liked him as a player. Even during the Euros, I was actually more of a Phillips fan than Rice during that Euros, and I thought Phillips actually did better than him. But yeah, I think he's worth a punt, and I think anyone's an improvement over Højbjerg. Like for me, he's a definite improvement on Højbjerg, and even as well over Skip. So even if you bring him in and he doesn't turn out to be like this amazing player, in the next summer you can actually go out and buy, say, another central midfielder and take out Skip. I mean, you could do it, think of it that way, but I'm with Alan in terms of priorities. I don't think in January it's a massive priority unless Højbjerg leaves.
We'll go on to Michael. I just want to say, I think Weston McKennie went to the right player. Team. He went to the wrong team with Leeds. I think under a Postecoglou system, I think you will see a better McKennie.
But Weston McKennie is not a Basuma replacement. Weston McKennie is a Havmatasar Bentancur positional player. Yeah. He's not a DM, right? So he's an 8. So he's an 8/10. Like he plays 10 for the US sometimes. He doesn't ever play 6 for us. So he doesn't play 6 for Juventus either. I rate the guy highly. He made Thomas Partey look like Oliver Skip last night or the night before last. And which, I mean, according to Arsenal fans, Thomas Partey is the greatest, midfielder in the world. He absolutely, dropped one shoulder, spun him, put a ball, and just it was dirty. It was dirty. He made him look like he was playing against a U23 player. I don't know.
Yeah, so if I can give my opinion on Calvin Phillips, right? I agree with what Alan and Haas have said about Phillips. The issue is you guys are remembering Calvin Phillips from Leeds 1.5 years ago.
No, I
think the issue for me with Calvin Phillips is that he's been sitting on the bench for over a year now, having no game time. And I understand the argument that he's behind Rodri, right? So he won't be getting game time because he is behind Rodri, right? But for me, it's just too risky to go for a player who's not been playing for such a long time. And every time he came on for City, he's been dropping stinkers, right? So I would much rather us go for a younger player, especially because like Phillips is 27 or 28. I don't think that's a good Højbjerg replacement. I get the point that he's maybe slightly better than Højbjerg, but if we are really getting rid of Højbjerg, I would prefer someone younger. someone who won't mind sitting on the bench as much as probably Calvin Phillips would, right? Imagine being Phillips sitting on a bench for 1.5 years, Tottenham comes, buys you, right? And you still sit on the bench. I don't think that's a good career move for him. And I don't think that's a good move for us. And I also agree with Alan in terms of, like, it's not our priority. I don't think it will be our priority in the January window too.
I think, look, there is a player out there, and I've been looking since I was on Ashmatic's show yesterday for a Basuma, a baby Basuma, right? Because I said yesterday that Basuma was baby Dembele, right? We needed a baby Basuma. So I actually found one, and that is Cone from Mönchengladbach. He's a 22-year-old French player. He's got he's got 97% successful take-on rate per 90. Like, I mean, the guy is exactly a baby Basuma. Big, strong, thick, right? He's 6 foot tall, 160 pounds, right? Like, I'm literally, and he plays for Mönchengladbach, so it's not like we couldn't go in and just get it done, right? So his name is Claudio Cone or something like that? Kane, or I don't know how you pronounce it.
I think it's called.
Where's he from, Will? What country?
France.
France.
He's French.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's 22, 22 years old.
200 French players, right?
But I mean, he's 22 years old. And I mean, if we went and got this guy, I mean, he's just been absolute, just controlling midfields. I've watched some highlight videos on him. Like, he's a baby Basuma.
Yeah, I think that's. I think that's a really good choice, like profile-wise. I just feel like, judging by the fact that we were looking at Gallagher and now we are looking at Calvin Phillips, I have a feeling they want to fill in the homegrown quota with that transfer, right? So, yeah, I would much rather have Cone or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, but we should have 3 internet. If we lose Højbjerg, Lloris, and Eric Dyer this January, we'll have 3 international spots that we can fill. And I would rather, try to put. I would rather maybe go for a domestic center back than go out for. Huh?
I know you don't like him, but I statistically he's been like kind of average, right?
I just don't think Calvin Phillips can do what Basuma does for us in that midfield. I'm not convinced.
I don't want Calvin Phillips, right?
I think he's a good player. I don't think he could in this system. I think he would fit better in an Arsenal system than this system. Like, as a backup to Rice, I think he would do better in that role than
Calvin Phillips, right? He's good at the defensive stuff, blocks, interceptions, tackles. He's good at that. He's actually not bad at a more longer range pass. But in those small pockets, the short range passing, the give and go, keep possession, he's very average. And for me, if our midfielders haven't got that in their locker, they can't play handball. We need to move it in those triangles. We need to create the overloads and use the man in tight spaces and short zones. If he's got to just play the longer pass or a medium range ball, he's okay. He's okay. But that's not how we play. We don't do that. So for his role, I think for his position,
midfield, that's what he's done.
I don't think he's good enough. If you just want someone to just hold, to block, to intercept, to tackle, then yeah, he's good. He's very good actually. But that's not what we do.
Yeah, but then you're kind of replacing Højbjerg with Højbjerg, right? And that's
the point, right?
Well, yeah, you need to be defensively good, but also you've got to be good with the passing.
I don't want to replace Højbjerg for Højbjerg. I want to place Højbjerg for baby Basuma, right? That's someone who wins Basuma. Yeah,
I agree. I don't think Phillips is the way forward. He's not the way forward. We need players that are good on the ball with their passing and keep possession when they're on.
He has like 93% pass completion. Possession statistics, the carries, the take-ons, successful take-ons.
We do have someone in the midfield who could ping a pass from deep. That would be, and that's someone I forgot to mention for these next 4 games, because if he's coming at the end of October, early November, that would be Bentancur, because Bentancur can pass, ping a pass from deep within the midfield.
Bentancur's quality, man. He's he's the most underrated midfielder in the league. I swear to God, I don't understand how
I
he
think
didn't
he's
get the play.
sensational. I really think he's brilliant.
I don't get it. Yeah.
Do you think he's
Yeah.
going to take Sar's place straight away when he comes back?
I don't think
He needs
straight.
time. Give him minutes. You need to give him minutes.
Yeah, he's going to need time to build up his match fitness, right? No matter how much you work out and train in training, there's nothing that replaces actual match intensity, right? It's just not possible. So he's going to need time to get bedded back in. I hope he comes back. I mean, an ACL, it either goes two ways with an ACL. Your career's done, or you're fine, right? There's no middle ground. It's either you're all right, or you might as well just pack it up, right? That's just the way those types of injuries work. So it just we'll have to see.
Yeah.
No, he plays for Mönchengladbach right now.
Yeah.
Pape Sarr plays for Spurs because he's got the stamina, the work rate. Obviously, he's good on the ball as well. It's not just that, but his energy levels. That's a massive reason why he gets picked week in, week out. He's high energy. Bentancur's not going to have that for at least a month.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, going back to end this off, we play Fulham Monday Night Football. Some people say it's a trap game. Some say we should comfortably win. Alan mentioned we have to win that game to get off to a good start. I agree with him. What are your predictions for the Fulham game? We'll start with you.
2-1 Spurs. I think it's going to be, a tough game. I think we'll have just too much for him. I think we'll concede as well. So, 2-1.
Okay. Has?
I'm going to agree with Alan. I'm saying 2-1 Tottenham.
Okay. Michael?
2-0. I don't think they have enough firepower to break through our defense, unless it's a set piece. But I think we'll keep majority of the ball and we'll just break them down eventually. 2-0.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna say 3-1.
Oh,
Tottenham.
that's my score. Still.
Monday night under the lights. Basuma's back. We're going to whoop him, man. 3-4-0.
Okay.
They're going to get it. We're due to whoop someone as well. We should have been 3-0 up against Luton in 15. If we start like that against Fulham, we'll go 2-3-0 up, and then it could be a long night for them.
Just got to find
Unless everything again.
I also have three.
So 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0 because Charlison is gonna miss everything again, right?
1-0. 1-0 Tottenham.
I think now someone correct me if I'm wrong, and I haven't looked this up, but I'm just trying to go off my memory here, and I always get myself in trouble when I deviate from the data. But hasn't Richarlison only scored at home? Has he scored an away goal
Against Liverpool, wasn't it? Anfield.
Yeah, and
last season?
Ahead, last
I mean, this season, all of his goals have been
at home. Yeah,
at home. Yeah.
He has one goal.
Fulham.
No, it was away. It was away.
No, it wasn't Fulham in the cup. No, it wasn't him. No, yeah.
Alan,
he scored against Fulham.
Alan,
He scored against
I want to
Fulham
ask
away.
Alan the question.
And Sheffield
Alan,
United. Oh, I think
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to ask Alan something, right? Alan, you know when you do your shows, do you get many people defending Richarlison in the comments? Like, or people on your show that come on and defend him? Because
I see a lot of people in the comments and that give him time and all that. And look, at the start of the season, I said I thought he could do a job.
Suspended.
So I was like, I think he could do a job, give him time. But no, he's £60 million worth of player apparently, which he's not. But we overpaid. But yeah, people still say give him time. He's got to bed into the team. I'm like, no, he's done. He's finished. Get him gone. And bring in another striker on that. But yeah, there are some Richarlison sympathisers, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's weird.
No, I'm with you. I did not get it. I also have
I am one, so
Will's score of 3-1 Spurs on Monday. But yeah. So Alan, we have it attached to the channel.
Thumbnail.
The show.
The title.
The title.
Yeah,
The title.
Title.
What's coming up on your show?
So tomorrow I've got a Man United fan on tomorrow night. We're talking obviously that starts of the season, us and them, and because I'm trying to find out what rivals actually think of Spurs. A lot of Liverpool fans are being weird, saying like targeting Spurs ever since that game against Liverpool.
I know it's ridiculous. It's actually insane.
Yeah, I've had the Chelsea fan. I had an Arsenal fan on today. I've got a Man United fan on tomorrow, just to get some rivalry, rivals' perspectives to Spurs and how we're playing. Because obviously, in our bubble, we could be Tottenham are brilliant, but we're not seeing something. So we're just getting a rival's point of view as well through this week. Friday, I'm doing a call-in show, looking ahead to the weekend. Obviously, the Premier League and Spurs. Over the weekend, I've got a lot on, but I'll be dropping videos of anything that's topical at the time, maybe injuries or stuff like that. And then I'll be doing a watch along on Monday night for the Fulham game. So very busy. And yeah, I predominantly do Spurs content, but I am starting to get, Premier League like rivals coming on and all that for more Premier League content as well. But 90% of it's Spurs, but a lot coming up on the channel. So thanks for having me on. Thanks for obviously push it, like having a link up and all that. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'd like to come back on anytime.
Yeah, and everybody needs to go subscribe to Time Added On. Just a great channel. I don't subscribe to many Spurs channels, but that's one that I do subscribe to.
Solid channel.
Yeah. No, look, if it gets the Will Stewart seal of approval, then it's a must sub, in my opinion.
I think it's ever since the debate on my channel, because like I said, I was only a moderator. I let you guys go out. I didn't take sides. I just let you guys.
Oh, the Jay versus Will thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I just sat back and let you guys.
That was one of the best moderators. I'm talking about. Can you do our presidential debate moderating? Because that was
no, don't give him.
They couldn't afford me. There we go.
It was so excellent. That wasn't how debate should be.
Yeah,
that's like.
Well, I think it's because you had two people, and look, I think Jay gets a hard stick too, but I actually really like Jay. Ever since that debate, I have more respect for Jay than I do probably 90% of people that just come on the show and just ramble their mouth. Because Jay, he respects the data and he respects the eye test just like I do, even though I get labeled as a stats merchant. And we both don't have a bias, so that if somebody places a logical argument that's valid, that we're like, oh, good point, right? Like we're not so stuck and dug into our belief system that we can't be like, you know what, you might be right. And that's why, so big up J Rated R for that as well. And Alan too, he always has the best guests on the show, and he lets me troll people in the chat, so that's always fun.
This is true.
Do you have a nickname? Because Dietrich's just called you Mustard. And I don't know.
He's Mustard just like his wall. His channel is as mustard as his wall.
No. So basically, people don't understand. Yes, like me and my partner, we moved in and we bought this house, but like this wall's going because it's going to be knocked into one, but we're not going to just paint one wall and all that. So we're waiting for this wall to go. So until it goes, it's there. But people love the mustard wall. They criticize it, but then say, "Oh, where's the mustard wall?" So I said to them, once we knock it down, I'm going to crush it up and like build it into the new wall behind me. Like they did at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So the guys will always have the mustard wall with them. So it's a tongue-in-cheek thing, but it's good. The channel love it. The contents love it. It's good.
Guys, I gotta shoot. It's a bit late here.
All right, take care, Mike.
I have to sleep. So yeah,
see you soon.
Brilliant show. See you soon. Bye
bye. Are you officially with Southview Boys, or are you still auditioning?
I'm like
auditioning.
I spoke to someone and they were like, no, he's on
interview. He's interviewing
on probation now. I'm joking. But no, so I'm hosting obviously on every Friday night preview show. Obviously, it's going to change with the Palace game because I have to do it on like a Thursday or something. So I have a preview show on their channel, and obviously I go on the post-match most of the time. But I do have my own channel, Hasper TV, so please go subscribe to that. So my schedule this week is Friday, the preview on View from the South, and I'm doing a Friday preview on my own channel at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because obviously the game's on Monday night. So, but yeah, I do drop the odd video here and there, but yeah, apart from, and also thanks for having me on the show, Mari.
Oh no, always.
Yeah.
And you do a lot with the Southview Coys too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm with them a lot. Yeah.
You want to big them up too, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big up Southview Coys. you know, because I think of you from the South still as well. Isn't that's Southview Coys now? Used to be View from the South. So yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm Harry Scarfs a lot as well. So Harry's big up Scarfy Talk.
Yeah, big up.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Come on the show. I got to do an earlier show. It's on the day was earlier because, of course, he's a student. This is the time he should be sleeping. But we'll get him on because he's been wanting to get on. Have to be an earlier time. Before just to answer quickly, big up TFSC like Kai. I would probably say Son, Johnson, and Kulu. Is everybody in agreement with that for the front three?
That's who I'd pick. Yeah.
Do you think Johnson's going to come straight back? Is he fit?
He's fit
Should
to
be
my
fit.
knowledge. Yeah.
I haven't heard anything. There hasn't been any team news yet, but he should be. The way they were talking before the international break was that he was almost back anyway. So.
All right. Oh, I thought it was a longer.
We can't see Richie again, man. Honestly, it's ridiculous now. Like,
he's that bad. I'd rather a real pigeon play in front of him in the team. That's how bad he is. Having in that team anymore.
We're all taking passive aggressive shots at Has here right now. He's bearing it well though. Big up.
It's a classic debate with Has and Will about Sonny. It's always good.
It's like yesterday, part 2.
Yeah. You know, I hope there's no trouble at our game on Monday, man. I've heard a few stories going around.
I hope they have more security or something because
yes,
they're going to need to. They're going to need to.
I'm getting down there quite early, actually. I think.
Yeah. On our channel tomorrow, we have North London is ours. One of these days, I gotta get Alan and Has on that craziness of a show. Tomorrow we are going to
let Alan argue with Stefan for a while. I'm about worn out.
Oh God! Oh no!
Well,
I don't want to argue with him.
Get Has on there to argue with Stefan. I'll put money for it. I'll put it in super chat.
It's going to be less.
He literally grates on me so much.
That's why I want to see it.
Stefan will be on his best behavior tomorrow. But the same points, but less interruptions. We like to listen to the people, and people say, they can't hear sometimes because there's a lot of interruptions. Stefan. But we will work on that tomorrow.
But just so guys know, it's a very good panel because I watch it like every week pretty much.
I mean,
Connor's good. What's the other guy called?
Yeah, Connor and TJ are great.
TJ.
Yeah.
Stefan has his views, and yeah, he has his views. It's good. No, bigger though. Stefan's very passionate. So tomorrow,
his reactions are my favorite.
It's going to be structured in regards to interruptions, because he has some points. He knows his football.
Mate, and then Stefan, you say to him, you're having an argument. Who's better, Jesus or Madison? Right? You just whatever. You're having an argument, and then you actually make a point that he can't answer to. So you've won the argument. And his response will be, "Okay, Stel. Okay, so you're going to win the league. Tell everyone you're going to win the league." Like, what are you talking about? What? And he just changes it completely, and then you get sucked into that shit. That's what he does.
And then Friday, we have the Friday show, which is the Premier League, where we don't only talk Tottenham, we talk all the leagues. We do have different people. We have an Arsenal guy, your boy G, and so
I
on
forgot
that
the old
show,
Arsenal guy's name. He's really good before his name now.
yeah.
G came on for 2 hours the other night to argue the Saliba Romero stats.
Oh yeah. I caught that one. That was
ridiculous, man. That was ridiculous. 6 hours arguing. It was like
the argument.
I saw the time on it. I started watching. I saw the time on it.
I was with you.
If you watch it, it's actually surprisingly, for as long as it is, it's actually fairly attention grabbing. So if you watch it back at 2x, it'll only take you 3 hours, and it's good.
And then, of
I
course,
didn't want it to be that long. I was hoping for it to be like 2 hours, like 30 minutes in the front. I could chop it up into multiple pieces. But now, man, it's just like.
Will, on Tommy's channel last night, Hotspur Hood.
You guys were going until like 2 a.m. weren't you, or something?
Dude, he finished the show, and then right at the end, Tommy said something about stats. I said, Tommy, do you know what's interesting? You say that, but the other day, Will broke down this argument. When I mean, Tommy and I then had a 30-minute argument. Go and watch the last 30 minutes of Hotspur Hood. And
it was an hour.
Because get Will on. I want Will to do a comparison with this, and that, because then this and this. I was like, no, you tell Will. No, he's your boy. You tell him. I'm like, 30 minutes. Go and watch the last 30 minutes. Tommy showed last night.
Yeah, please let me know. And Tommy, if you want me to come on and debate it, I'll do it. And like Scott Jones, he said I need to debate the professor. I don't know who that is.
I think he means Alex.
Well, I've debated Alex all the time. That's
the professor of truth and entertainment.
But I don't know because
I love Alex.
Scott is a Arsenal fan, right? So I don't know if there's another Arsenal fan that calls himself the professor out there. But look,
Alex
you line him up. You line him up. I'll knock him down, and we'll do it.
Remember when he came on that stream, and then someone said something completely different, and he thought Sessegnon was like the best left back that people picking on the team.
Hey, we were talking the other night. We were talking about expectations of who's going to finish where, and we're discussing who's going to finish first, second, third, fourth. Alex comes on and goes, right, Bentancur. What? What? And he just goes into one about Bentancur.
I call him on it all the time because when last season was it the Frankfurt game or was it the Sporting game at the stadium, and I met him after the game, and he came to me and he went, Alan, because we'd done a few bits on my show, and he came to me and went, you're absolutely right about Bentancur, what a player, sensational, this and the other, back to Liverpool player. A week later on my show, he's like, yeah, he's bang average. I'm like, what? Face to face, you tell me how great he was. And
Alex is great in real life, honestly. He's such a nice guy.
He is.
But anyway, like with the whole thing, I remember this stream. I think we were doing combined Arsenal 11, Spurs 11, and you were kind of about like the all-time or something. Anyway, some message said for some reason. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I was like we were talking about this year. Who would you play? And then he goes into like he just can't let it go. But it's okay. It's all good.
You were like, no, that's not what we said. That's what we said.
Are you out of your mind?
It was so
Sessegnon, let's have it right. Yeah, that's it, and I'm done. Yeah, let's have it right. You guys,
back to you.
Back to you, I'm done.
Back to you.
Alan. We're like, no, for this year, not all time. You don't just not the all time.
Yeah, because he was losing his mind.
On that note, we have to watch along. On Monday,
I'll have to work on my Alex impersonation. I got to get that one down, like the boy Hotspur one. I gotta get that one down.
Actually, that was pretty good. The impersonation. And then we'll have THFC Rants Monday night special, and that is it.
Yes.
Yep. And so, I got nothing else. Everybody else, hit a like. Support the channels. Time added on. Hasper's TV.
A few quiz.
So
as well.
Support has asthmatic and Marlon.
Yeah.
And support those guys. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
And we